So in this case, if you are, in the US it's really different, and in Canada it can be different as well, because when you do when you flip a property really quickly, you don't need to have lawyers involved, you don't need to have real estate agents involved, you don't need to get all those people involved. If you do, you adjust accordingly. So if you figure that you found a property and you've bought it, and now you're going to sell it to another investor and you want to make a $10,000 spread, you should figure out what your costs are going to be for buying and selling. And then it's up to you to decide whether you want to leave that in your $10,000 spread or you want to put it on top. Now the other thing that you can do is, I'm sure everybody's heard of an assignment. You can do an assignment, and to do an assignment it doesn't cost you anything.
What is assignment?
Assignment is when, let's say for example, I agree to buy your home for $100,000, right? And then I find Leslie, and Leslie agrees to buy the property from me for $110,000. Well, all I do is I assign my contract to Leslie, and Leslie gives me $10,000 at closing. In essence, instead of selling the house to me, you're selling it to Leslie.
So in this case, you are like real estate agent.
I'm not a real estate agent. I'm not a real estate agent, and you can't use that word, especially here in the Lower Mainland. Okay? What you're doing is you're doing an assignment. You're selling the property to somebody else. How much U.S. real estate agents charge on selling a property? Real estate agents in the U.S. charge 6%.
Flat rates?
Flat rate, 6%. It's usually split 3% for each agent. And it's not on a scale like it is here in Canada. What are other ways to sell houses in Canada and the U.S. without real estate? And if it's a good idea to do it ourselves? Well, you guys are going to learn some of this stuff in the next couple of days. There's a lot of different strategies that you can use to flipping houses. I have a friend in the U.S. that he flips probably between 30 and 80 homes a month. And he makes $5,000 to $10,000 per home. Okay? So think about how much money you can make flipping houses. And he has his job, what he's done, he's been doing this for a very long time. Okay? In his other life, he was a truck driver. And he has a database of 5,000 active investors. So he gets a house, he sends it to his list, and it's gone. Now he doesn't sell all of the houses. Some of them he has to keep because nobody will buy them. But that's, part of his business. He does high volume.
Dario, can I just ask, why would he not do assignments?
If you do that many assignments, then you fall into the problem of the Real Estate Act. Right? So he takes title of the house in his name, and then he flips it over to you, and he does all the work. The registration fee is $15 for him to take title in his name, and then he flips it into your name. If you want to use an escrow company, use it. He says you pay for all the fees. I'm not paying for anything. Right? Then it got foreclosure processes or procedures in Canada and the U.S. According to my real estate agent, even if your offer is accepted, it doesn't mean you will get the house for this price, as it goes to court and someone can bid on it, like an auction. So the process here is wow. I'm going to try to explain it to you as fast as I can. The foreclosure process in Vancouver kind of works like this. When you fall behind on your payments, the first month you get a friendly letter from the bank as a reminder. You're behind on your payments. The second month, it's a little more stronger, it's a little more forceful. You need to make your payment. The third month, you get a letter from a lawyer saying, you fell behind on your payments, you better bring your payments current. The fourth month, you get a letter from the lawyer that says, you have until this day to bring your payments current or we're going to start foreclosure. What they do is they go to court and they register pending litigation and they start a lawsuit against you for breach of contract and all that. And then what happens is, depending on what your cooperation is, the bank could go into court and apply for conduct of sale. Right? So if you're friendly with the bank and you're talking to the bank and you say, look, I can't bring my payments current, I lost my job, whatever, the bank will say, okay, put your house up for sale and sell it. Right? If you are avoiding the bank and you're stubborn and you don't want to deal with the problem, the bank will go into court and ask for conduct of sale. When they get conduct of sale, they'll put the house up for sale. They'll ask, let's say it's worth 100, they'll ask 100. When you get an offer, the offer is subject to court approval. You as the homeowner doesn't get to decide whether it's a good offer or not. The bank doesn't get to decide whether it's a good offer or not. The court does. Now, if you're sophisticated enough, when that offer goes into court, you as a homeowner show up and say, I contest the sale. I believe that the sale is not a value, it's not a true value of the house, it's a lowball offer, I don't want the house sold. If you bring enough information to convince the judge that your house is worth more, then the judge will say, okay, this sale is not going to go through, go find another buyer. Or buyer, raise your price. Okay? If the seller doesn't contest the sale, then what happens is the sale goes to court for approval, and if there's anybody else interested in buying the house, they show up on that day and they say, the judge will ask, is there anybody present that wants to buy this house? Doesn't ask how much, he says, how much?